Can I please have Mr. Antonio come on? Antonio has been a guest here at the Speakeasy Collective and just has been gracing us with his words, with his artistry, and it's just, I can't even put it in words. I'm just going to let him do his thing. I'm going to mic you up really quickly.
All right, testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
Awesome. Whether you need this or however you want.
Let me wheel this over here. So we got a room full of poets. Woo! I can prove it. At the count of 3, I want everybody to recite their ABCs. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Louder.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P.
Keep going.
Q, R, S,
That's right.
T, U, V.
Right.
W, X.
Come on.
Y, and Z.
Sing the song.
Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me?
Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a hand.
They should harmonize.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, reciting the ABCs is a form of poetry called alliteration. Poetry is everywhere. When you painting pictures with your words. So, say you went to the mall and you wanted to tell her what you did at the mall, you will be using words that poetry uses by painting pictures with your words. Poetry is always with us, and we are always speaking with the tools that poetry uses. Africano, Haitiano, Jamaicano, Dominicano, Cubano, Brasileños, Beliceños, Panameños y Peruanos, Salvadoreños, Venezolanos, Hondureños, Chilenos, Argentinos, Mexicanos, Colombianos, Bolivianos, Ecuadoreños, Guatemaltecos, Nicaragüense, Puertorriqueños. You don't really know me, man. You think you know me? You look at me and you say, hey, look at this guy. Well, say hello to Antonio. You see, I'm New York-Rican. That's a Puerto Rican from the city of New York. I am African. I am Arawak. I am Dutch. I am Taino, the indigenous. I am Puerto Rico. I am salsa, the kind I eat, the kind I listen to, the kind I play, the kind I dance to. I am Puerto Rico. I am rice and beans with plátanos on the side. I am leche de coco and Bacardi rum. I am Puerto Rico. I am bilingual, a Latino who speaks fluent Spanglish. Mi apellido? Well, that's my last name is Edwards. Come from my Jamaican grandfather. He taught my dad to sing, Deo, Deo, dice Deo. Daylight come and me one to Puerto Rico. I am Boricua, a boriqueño de la isla de Borinquen. I am pasteles en quenepas, relleno de papa y alcapurria. I am Puerto Rico. I am also reggaeton, like Tego Calderón, Willie Colón, Miguel Piñero, and Tito Puente. Esos son mi gente. You see, my culture's intact. Statehood, well, that's an American act. So don't tread on me. We already raised your flag, so I vote no. I am Puerto Rico. To my abuela y abuelito. Si no me puede entender, te lo siento, yo soy Puerto Rico. From the top of my cabello to the bottom of my feet, the food I eat, the words I speak, I am Puerto Rico. Well, Antonio, do you consider yourself Puerto Rican or African American? Because you seem to identify with African Americans. What I say to that is, freedom of the mind is seldom traveled by the multitudes. You must open your mind as well as your eyes. Only in America am I asked to choose sides. Échale semilla a la maraca para que suene chacu chacu chucu chap chap. You see, I am Puerto Rico. The idea of my being is much larger than the color of my skin. You must inquire within. We come lily white to blue black. But some people in Puerto Rico argue with me. They don't even know how to act. So from Cataño to Ponce, Bayamón, Puerto Rico, always home. Thank you. What if you read so many books that Google begins to ask you random questions? That you become the foremost authority of all things that speak life? What if you create literature that adds new words to the world's vocabulary, multiplies our libraries and places books into hands that never held them, in front of eyes of those who've never seen the printed word before? What if for every page you read, a seed is planted that grows into another tree, providing oxygen for all living things to breathe? That those unfamiliar words begin to articulate their meaning in your own voice, leaving you no choice but to remember them? What if reading becomes as natural to you as breathing, as fulfilling to you as eating, and takes you places your imagination could never conceive on its own? What if you read in your sleep, transforming your dreams into characters and events the world had not yet seen? That you begin to write poetry that changes curriculums, challenges disciplines, and uses words in ways that unites humankind. I like to teach the world to write poetic harmony. I hope they hold them in their hearts and keep them company. What if the words you write are read like musical notes used to compose phonetic symphonies? That you begin reading the stars in far-off galaxies and discover the one to be named after you. You see, I like to teach kindergartners how to write haiku in crayon so they can go home and turn their refrigerator doors into poetic art galleries. I like to tell a 7th grader, if they could only read the 3.2 billion characters in their DNA, they'll never again see themselves as ordinary. You see, reading and identifying words in print is what we call word recognition. Constructing and understanding from them is what we call fluency. Uh-oh, I lost my place. Coordinating words so that reading is automatic and accurate is a mastery called fluency. So since the brain is a muscle, then reading are like steroids for the brain. And it has been said that those who read more are generally smarter than those who read less. So in the words of the great writer and philosopher, Dr. Seuss, the more you read, the more you know. The more you learn, the more places you'll go. This is no ordinary love. No ordinary love. This is no ordinary love. No ordinary love. There we were, the 4 of us, me and the trio. Allow me to introduce them. We have machismo, pride, and ego. You see, we were receiving accolades for our latest production. The audience, now emotionally manipulated, gathered all around us, asking for a subliminal autograph in the form of a handshake. There were about 40, 50 people in the room vying for our attention. The trio and I, we were having 40 to 50 simultaneous conversations. Rejoicing at this point, the trio lifted me up onto their shoulders. But we all know that pride comes before the fall. For waiting patiently, yet steady making her approach, stood the woman who will eventually change the course of my life. Now, to this point, I drank my coffee black with a little sugar. But this sister, this almond mocha honey-colored café con leche with plenty of sugar, sweetly stepped to me and introduced herself. She was kind of fly. She was kind of fly, wearing her hat to the back, her outfit fitting tight to attract. She extended her hand, but with the trio still in command, I extended mine. However, I did not look her in the eye. Yes, this I must confess. I gave it a typical male gaze down at her breast. Ego said, yo, looks like she got the blues in her left eye, and you could become the funk.
Am I right?
And I said, is that right? But then our palms touched, our fingers embraced. Her pheromones engulfed me and I began to smell her love. The room went from a dull gray to technicolor, like in that movie Pleasantville. And when our eyes finally met, time stood still. And in the absence of those moments, her and I, we were the only two people in the room. As I looked through her light brown windows, I could see her soul. Her spirit began to sing to me. Sign your name across my heart. I want you to be my baby. Woo!
Come on.
Now you may be thinking I'm just using these words to articulate my story, but I'm sorry. I've never been moved like that before. Her hand shook me down to my very core. It was like some celestial, far more than sexual, organic, like Jack and Rose on the Titanic. Trips to the mall, don't call your homeboys no more. I was carrying her purse, wearing matching outfits, connection, public displays of affection. And I cried tears of joy as I made love to her. A simple handshake, an emotional interruption disguised as an introduction turned out to be the sweetest seduction, rendering the trio helpless, unable to function. Then, in an act of desperation, the trio managed to break my concentration. Machismo slapped me in the back of the head and said, boy, snap out of it. You're too cool, too fly. You have no choice but to deny those feelings, get some of that sexual healing in, go about your business. I nervously planned my escape, looking to my left, to my right, spotting all possible exits. But you see, I could not move. I was swept up in her groove, and like a brand new blade, she cut through all my defenses, leaving the trio defenseless. We used to say, I wish I knew then what I know now, but make no mistake, the handshake has sealed my fate. And she is the only woman I ever loved. Sent to me from heaven up above, I often call her Angel. The universal symbol for peace is a dove. She was born on February 14th, so she has to be the symbol for love. So I often thanked her for being caring, considerate, and kind. But most of all, I thanked her for being my 24/7 Valentine. Part 2. She went from my biggest fan to my biggest hater. At a moment of my life when all I wanted to do is be greater. Not greater than her, just greater than me, finally becoming the man God wanted me to be. So I put on this new man from the inside out. God's spirit filled with self had hollowed out, feeling as if I just received a gift from a great and powerful Oz. But time took time. Time took years, took tears, took doubt, took in, took out, and eventually took its toll on her heart that toward me was left unwhole. So strained the relationship had become. So strange, so unfamiliar, it failed to recognize his own name. Confusion, disillusion, unresolved issues with no solution. But didn't we address them all? Didn't I confess them all? I thought the change would bring us closer, give us closure. But the same old ghost kept haunting us over and over. So where is this happily ever after? Where are all the cheers and the laughter? The boy does not get the girl at the end of this flick. Because apart we're unhappy, but together, we're just sick. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, dude.
You just said a lot.
Always, bro. Always just grabbing me, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give it up for the talking about tonight.